Today I'm going to be reading The Great Gran Plan, and the strategy I'm going to be using is from our book, 7.17, Readers Ask Themselves Questions, and this is to think beyond the surface of the story, go deeper into the meanings and ideas, so you, while you're reading, can ask the kids questions, or tell them questions that you might have about what's going to happen next. So The Great Gran Plan. The pig had a house in the wild, wild wood. It was safe, it was strong, it was snug, it was good. So when the bad wolf started howling and prowling and sulking and scowling and grizzling and growling, the pig said, "Old wolf, you can blow till you're blue, but you'll not break my house down whatever you do." The wolf simply glared, then slunk slowly away. But there on the pathway, the very next day, the pig found a note that said, "Top secret plot. Eat the 3 little pigs," which he didn't do because here's the pig, "and gobble Red Riding Hood's Gran nice and hot." So what do you think? I'm thinking here, what is the pig going to do with this information? He knows now that the wolf is going to go after Red Riding Hood's Gran. Guess we'll have to find out. "No," cried the pig, "my trusty old trotter, that stinking old fleabag, that wily old rotter." And he leapt to the wheel of his rusty old van, crying, "Pig to the rescue, save that Gran!" "I'll snatch him, I'll catch him, that wolf won't escape. But first what I need is a super pig cape." I wonder why he wants a super pig cape. Probably because maybe superheroes wear capes, so he's gonna save the day, so he's gonna go get his cape. He dashed through the town till he came to a stall. They hadn't a cape. So they don't have a cape. I wonder what he's going to get instead of a cape. Does anybody have any guesses as to what he's going to get since he doesn't have a cape? But they gave him a shawl. Then he leapt to the wheel of his rusty old van, crying, "Pig to the rescue, save that Gran!" Now I'll have to be sneaky. I might have to spy. Binoculars, yes, I should give them a try. Do any of you know what binoculars are? Can anybody take a guess? I think binoculars are something, they help you see from far away and stuff like that. Okay, so he dashed to the shop, but there weren't any there. But he did find some rather fine specs, the last pair. Then he leapt to the wheel of his rusty old van, crying, "Pig to the rescue, save that Gran!" "I'll swoop on that wolfie, I'll hoop him, I hope, but now what I need is some lovely strong rope." So he dashed to the city, the shops were so full, and the rope was sold out. You see that? This man bought all the rope. Wonder what he needs it for, right? So, what could the pig use instead of rope? I'm thinking maybe some ribbon or something like that. But he did find some wool. Ooh. Then he ran to the wheel of his rusty old van, crying, "Pig to the rescue, save that Gran!" So now before we go any further, what does the pig kind of look like? Because to me he kind of looks like a grandma with those glasses and that shawl. And I know my grandma uses wool to make things, so maybe Little Red Riding Hood's grandma does too. Let's find out. Just as he came to the edge of the wood, he stopped most abruptly. As the wolf stood. "Red Riding Hood's granny? Well, how do you do? Strangely enough, I've been searching for you. Although I'll admit that it's quite a surprise. You've got such a strange nose and such small piggy eyes." So, what do you think? What do you think the wolf thinks that the pig is the grandma? Because, look, pig kind of looks like a grandma. "Gran," thought the pig, and he took a long look. Then he quivered and quaked, and he shivered and shook. The wolf eyed him up and snarled, "Nice and plump." Not old and not chewy, just look at that rump. You taste rather rare in a buddy, I bet. And he lunged at the pig. But then, so before I turn the page, what do you think's gonna happen? You think the wolf's gonna get him? Think the wolf's gonna get the pig? I don't know. Down came a net. And there in the wood was Red Riding Hood's Gran, who cried, "Think we can't catch you? You bet that we can." There's Gran and the pig. See, they kind of do look alike, don't they? You wicked old wolf. You may huff, you may puff, but I'm telling you now, I have had quite enough. Then she tied up the wolf from his nose to his tail, and together they took him and dropped him in jail. "Thanks," cried the pig, but the Gran said, "Thank you, that wolf had have minced me for gray granny stew." And linking together they danced at a jig, the wolf busting Gran and the clever young pig. "Yes," they both said, "we're an excellent team." You see in the background? It looks like the wolf might be escaping from jail. I guess we'll find out. And the wolf never came there again, or so it would seem. That's the wolf, dressed up in a red cape. So knowing that he's still there leaves a lot of unanswered questions. Did he come back? Did he stay away? So in the book we read about a little pig who was threatened by the big bad wolf, and his Gran, and Red Riding Hood's Gran, who he tries to save. So he gets all these things. He tries to get binoculars, but he gets glasses. He tries to get rope, and he gets yarn and a cape, but he gets a shawl, and ends up looking like the grandma and tricking the wolf. And then he ends up being saved by the grandma, and together they have defeated the wolf. But at the end, we know that the wolf has escaped from the pictures in the book, and that he's back. But we don't know what's going to happen. So during independent reading time, for my lesson, the students can read their book and write down questions as they have them. And while they're reading, their questions may be answered, they may be left unanswered, and they can make predictions based on their questions and based on how it all falls together.